Hello everybody. If you're watching this video, I'm officially 17. So, howdy folks. My name is Ian, your favorite trans girl content creator. Yeah, otherwise known as Purple Eyed Remote. If you do not know, I was born on May 15th of 2009 at 4:14 p.m. CST time, aka Central Standard Time for those folks who are wondering about that. Anyways, that date tomorrow at 4:14 p.m. CST time will have officially been 17 years since. Yep. 17 years of being on this planet. This is just, a little video just kind of talking about some stuff that's happened in my life and, reflecting on life as of now. I'll probably do same thing, maybe even in more depth, for my 18th birthday. So, yeah. But, let's start off with the stuff that I sort of kind of remember. The maximum that I remember, there's like some occasional things, so let's go. So, like, first of all, this is the foggy area. Basically, elementary, I remember little to nothing. But basically, in total, I had. Okay, so I had pre-K for. I had pre-K for, sorry, some stuff on the keyboard. Anyways, I had, pre-K and kindergarten was at a different school. I think. Yeah, pre-K and kindergarten had my first school. We're gonna call it A. You know what? I don't even care. I'm not gonna try to do it. Maybe I will, but yeah. That was the school for those years. Then, in first grade, I went to what is A is basically like a special school, or at least it shines in that. I'm not exactly sure, but that's kind of what it seems like. Then, first grade, I went to a very Christian-like private school, and then for second through half of fourth grade, which I'll explain what I mean by that in a second, because there's a technicality for that, I went to another public school, which I don't really know how to describe it. So, yeah, that was my elementary school experience. Now, what I mean, y'all, you might be wondering, chat. Okay, so Ian, what the freak do you mean by half of fourth grade? Well, technically speaking, the other half through fifth grade was still spent at that same school, but if you can't tell what I'm alluding at, that was basically my COVID year. Yeah, I was virtual for half of fourth grade and into fifth grade. So yeah. That was the virus, the C virus year. So yeah. Then sixth grade, middle school, went back, and had the same middle school throughout that whole year. And and then after sixth grade, on somewhere in March, or no, somewhere in February. Somewhere in February during seventh grade is when I officially started my channel. Yeah, I don't really remember too much from the previous years before that. I think everything starts to get, like, not as fuzzy. Like, it's only decently fuzzy. It's like a 50-50 of fuzzy. Maybe a little bit more fuzzy than not, but basically about around a 50-50 of fuzziness. about around whenever I started my YouTube channel. Something I do want to mention, chat, is that I still to this day and have way before I started my channel pretended like I made YouTube videos because, I'm quirky and special, if you can't already tell. Because, I have a little bit of autism, possibly on the spectrum, like a tiny bit, and then I also have ADHD. So, yeah, if you can't tell from some of my sporadic movements, I promise you I don't have like a tic or anything. It's just my ADHD, let's just say, gets a little bit quirky at night. Okay. Anyways, also combined with autism. Anyways, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, so, I don't know what age I was, but somewhere around 13, let's say. School was going good, and, yeah, I would say overall, but let's say between, now, we're basing this off purely, basically, for the most part, on, the school year. But, ranking each school year, just middle school and then high school as of now. Anyways, for middle school, I'd say probably it would be like 8th grade and first, because I'd say that is when I slowly but surely was starting to get better on YouTube. I mean, I said I wouldn't mention that. But also 8th grade, even though it was kind of annoying, it wasn't the worst, I'd say. I'd honestly probably say 6th grade was the worst. It was the introduction, so it was just kind of annoying. And then 7th grade in the middle. So yeah. And, then I started meeting people like Derek and other people like that. And then came 9th grade. I got into decent, I've had some type of presence now. I'm part of the furry community. I'm part of the LGBTQ community. I forgot to mention, I know some people may know this about me, but basically I would say that about around 6th grade, somewhere in there, don't exactly remember when, but somewhere around there is basically when I, started my LGBTQ journey. If for anyone who doesn't know, first I was gay, then, obviously first I was straight, then I was gay, and now I'm bisexual. So yeah, you want to know why? I see Cappy, I think. Oh, I'm gay as crap. Yeah, that's that. That's basically the story in a nutshell. Now, how I became bi, I saw a human pink. I was like, oh, I guess I'm bi now. Yeah, that's basically that story in a nutshell. So, yeah. Then came my 9th grade year, which was definitely something else. I'd say that the 9th grade year, purely just based off of school stuff wise, was probably a better year. Maybe 10th grade was a tiny bit better, but it's close. And then, obviously, I started meeting the amazing people. But at this point, I'd say I hadn't really, apart from, YouTube videos, that I myself, apart from one drama, which I'm not going to mention, I still never got involved that much. But, apart from one drama, it was associated with a good friend of mine. I'm not going to mention it. But, yeah, you know who you are. Anyways, apart from that, I'd basically never been involved or getting close to involved realistically in pressuring situations. Warning, this next part is going to be a little bit depressing, but I want to get this part out of the way so, we can end this video on a high note. But, basically, I just want to also mention, anybody mentioned about this, you're not doing anything wrong. It just happened to be that this is what your life was like. I, at this point, had still technically gotten vents from people. But, it didn't seem to be anything ultra serious apart from the occasional thing. But I'd say somewhere around my 10th grade year, things started to get really serious. And, that was also about around the time my 9th to 10th grade year was also about around the time where I'd start to meet some people who, really, really mattered to me. Before that, there was only realistically 3 people that had mattered to me as much as these people have. Of course, that is not to say that people like that I had met on YouTube before weren't. I'm just saying my 2 IRL friends plus Scott were probably just really, well, okay, maybe one. I only mentioned the other one because, IRL friends, and honestly, between the 2 IRL friends, I've known him for a little bit longer. But let's even say just Scott and one of the IRL friends, or Traffic Games for real on this channel, or Happy Cheese in my YouTube can. I started meeting people like Green Jr., Vester, others, also Angel or Furry Mask. So, yeah. I don't have that many minutes left, but, it's just been a wild ride, and, then I started dating Vester, I guess. So, yeah, but it's just like, been dealing with a lot, and, I've been getting through it. So, even though this video, after it's done recording, won't record the rest of my 16-year lifespan from whenever I stop recording till 4:14 p.m. CST time tomorrow, still, there would basically probably be not much of anything. So, yeah, besides the birthday stuff, obviously, but, yeah. I gotta stop recording this, because the disk space is about to be not free. So, yeah.